Hello, hello. Wow, tonight's going to be a crazy evening of a lot of information, a lot of content. So let's start off with my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP. I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So whenever I start my lives, I not only introduce myself, let you know who I am, but I want the same from you. So post a 1 below if you are new. So if this is your first, maybe second time seeing me go live, post a 1 below. Say hello, be part of the family, and just put yourself out there so that we all can get to know each other. And I always say we are better together, right? So second, if you are oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. So you guys know the drill already. So a 1 below if you are new, a 2 below if you are oldie but goodie, okay? So again, I'm going to let people hop on and I'm going to give you guys a minute. So if you're hopping on, just say hi and I got all my paperwork together. I'm like very organized OCD, so I have to make sure I have everything together. So tonight we're going to talk about, I didn't even post, on my live what I was going to talk about. So tonight we're going to talk about the 504 versus the IEP, which we've talked about in the past, but we're going to really kind of hone in on it. I had a lot of conversation on my group in reference to it. I'm not a fan of a 504, so I'm going to just go into the facts on both of them and explain to you what they are, what they're for, and then you can figure out if that's what's needed and appropriate for your child. The next thing we're going to go into is the detail behind both, okay? So we're going to talk about them, what they offer, but we're also going to go in depth a little bit on the detail, okay? And then we're also going to talk about if services are just taken from your child, okay? And the laws that go with that and what you need to be aware of so that things don't happen to you that seem to be happening these days that are actually against the law and not allowed. Okay, so if you are hopping on and you are new, post a 1 below. And if you're an oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. I'm going to let some people hop on. I have all my notes together. As you guys know, I like to be organized. I always write my notes in a Google Doc and then I print it out so it's in front of me so I stay focused because you guys keep talking to me and then I get all over the place. So, hey Christina, how are you? Hey Joy. Hi, is it Araceli? Welcome, welcome. All right. So I posted in the group because some people were wondering, when I was going live. So if you guys want to let them know I am live, let them know my oldies but goodies. Hi, Renee. Welcome. Hi, Thelma. Welcome, welcome. All right, so for those of you just hopping on, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP. I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. Okay, so hey, Kristen. Hey, Nicole. Welcome, welcome. All right, so post a 1 below if you're a newbie and a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right, so we're going to hop just into the content because we have a lot of content to cover today and we want to get through it, right? We all want to go to bed sometime tonight, right? All right, so we're going to go into, let me get my paperwork together. Okay, so we're going to go into 504s and IEPs, okay? So first I want to talk about something that may be enlightening a little bit to you. And I want to talk about accommodations versus modifications because this has a lot to do with the difference between 504s and IEPs, okay? So a accommodation allows a student to complete the same assignments that other children complete. They're just given more time, different formatting. They could have a certain pen, like a Sharpie or something like that to be able to point. There can be different things given to them. One of the biggest things is timing. They get more time. And they can also have a different schedule in which they take that test. But they take the same test as a child with a non-disability, okay? So an accommodation is just accommodating them in a better way to help suit their needs, but nothing different is done as far as what's given to them and what type of test or classwork, etc. is given to them, okay? Where a modification is an adjustment, okay? It's more that that test is changed up a little bit for that child to meet their needs. Okay, so it's actually a way in which to measure where they are, and any type of change can be put into a modification. All right, so modifications are changes to the item, okay, whether it be a test, classwork, whatever. Okay, so it's a change, where accommodation is basically accommodating them in the same arena. Okay, so if they have schoolwork or they have homework, okay, homework is an accommodation. Some children with special needs actually don't get homework. That is one of their accommodations, okay, where they can actually do their homework at school. So they still get the homework, but the homework's actually done at the school. So that's an accommodation. They're still doing the work. Where a modification is a change too. Okay, so any type of change can actually be put into a modification, and that's important to understand. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, if you guys did not get my, here, let me turn this light off real quick. Can you see this right here? I designed this. There's probably tons out there on the internet, but I like mine better. So this is something that I designed in reference to the difference between IDEA, IEP, and a 504. So I'm actually, if you guys printed this out, then you can follow me with it, but I posted it yesterday in my group, okay? So IDEA actually is what a IEP is based off of, okay? It's the law in which an IEP has to uphold, and a lot of school systems, particularly special education teachers at times and principals, do not know a whole lot about the specific laws. And I will say, hands down, I appreciate there's actually several teachers, special education teachers, on my group who have requested to join because they want to learn more, which that's admirable. So that's amazing, you know? So I think that is wonderful that they want to learn more. But the thing is, you know, it's like a pediatrician. A pediatrician knows a little about a lot in reference to children. But a heart surgeon knows about the specific heart. They're not only a doctor, but their specialty is the heart, you know? So with special education, they know a little about a lot in that arena. So one of the things, my daughter's a teacher in Northern Virginia. One of the things they don't teach is special education law, okay? Now they learn about all types of different disabilities and all that, but they don't learn about the law and how to uphold it. A lot of principals, okay, are at many of your IEP meetings. There's no point in them being at an IEP meeting. In all honesty, the principal has no decision-making power at all. Their job is to hire the teachers, make sure the teachers are doing their job, but very little, should I say, very few, that's a better word for it. Very few principals actually know special education law, okay? And they are not a decision maker who should be at your IEP. Now, they're more than welcome to be there. It's fine. But they're just another body in the room. That's really what they are, okay? So, just FYI. Okay, so IDEA is one way to, or is really, gosh, I don't even know how to explain IDEA because it's so in-depth. Okay, so for example, idea is based off a child and their unique needs. Okay, that would probably be the best way to explain it. All right, it's specific to each individual child, and whatever need, accommodation, or modification that they need, along with services, hands down can go into that IEP. You can put anything into an IEP. Anything. Okay? And that could mean, it could be as stupid as your child goes to take a walk around the whole school with a one-on-one every day. Something as stupid as that can be put into an IEP. Literally. Okay? Or something like, for example, my daughter, her service providers have to email me every single week and say, hey, Sky did this, and this week in speech or PT or whatever. Okay? So that I want them to hold themselves accountable. It also allows me to know when they are there. And then they're honest, actually, in our relationship now and telling me, okay, hey, I was sick today. I need to make up that session. All right. They have to make up a session if they're absent. But if your child's absent, they do not. Okay. So to qualify for an IEP, you actually have to be eligible. And that has to do with 13 different disabilities. Okay. Some people are saying 14 now. It has actually not changed by law. It is still 13, and those disabilities range, okay, from speech to behavior to autism to you name it, it's on there, okay? But the disabilities range, and there's 13 different categories, okay? And the IEP, once they're eligible, okay, and that's after an evaluation, that's an evaluation you get, that can be an IEE, then you have what's called an eligibility meeting, and then your child gets an IEP, and that has to be done within 30 calendar days after the eligibility, okay? So once the eligibility meeting is held, within 30 calendar days, you actually have to have an IEP meeting to create, as a team, that IEP. There is no such thing as a draft IEP given to you before the IEP, all right? Sorry to bust some of y'all's bubbles, because so many people have talked about, well, I didn't get my draft IEP. I don't understand why the school didn't give me a draft IEP. If the school gives you a draft IEP, that's them telling you, hey, we don't consider you part of the team. So here you go. Here's a draft IEP. Check it out, sign it. No. You go into that meeting, you do the work with the team, or really you do the work and persuade them to agree with you and get the job done. There is no draft IEP. You get a draft after you leave of what you discussed, then you go read it and make sure everything that you discussed is in that IEP, and then you respond accordingly. Yes, I agree. No, I don't agree. Or I agree to half of it or not half of it, etc. And that's how that goes. Stop asking for draft IEPs before an IEP meeting. Bad idea anyway, okay? Because they're giving you something based off of nothing that you said, nothing that you contributed to. That's not smart. So don't do that. All right? So an IEP begins at the beginning of the school year. It continues through the whole school year. And you have what's called an annual IEP. I always suggest have quarterly ones, so you go over goals, accommodations, services, etc., any issues that come up, progress reports, etc. Okay? So again, IDEA is based off federal law. Okay? It's based off a child's unique needs, and they're qualified by 13 disability categories, and it covers birth to age 21. Okay? And it's very specific to unique needs. That's probably a key word for it. All right, for anybody hopping on now, post a 1 below if you're a newbie, and post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I'll get to questions later. I'm trying to ignore it right now so I can stay focused, and then I'll address and say hey to everybody afterward. But be a part of, we are better together, so definitely say hi, hop on, post a 1 below if you're new, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, and we'll go from there. Okay, so also, IDEA covers related services and, like I said, accommodations and modifications. All right. Now, 504 is in accordance to this. It's called Section 504 Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Okay. It's more about accommodations for a child. Okay. And that could be physical or academic, instructional, whatever you want to say. And it includes some related services, and you get basically a plan in reference to an accommodation that serves that child and that child's specific needs. It does not go under IDEA or federal law in any way, shape, or form. So those laws and those rules that protect parents do not pertain to you if you have a 504. So you're at risk for many different issues that can come about. If you think about it, think about the issues that we have in reference to IEPs, all right, and them upholding the law, the federal law. So think about all the issues that can come down the line with a 504. All right. Now, unless your child is extremely high functioning and in your gut, you believe that there is no real solid need, then a 504 is good for you because the risk is minimal, right? But if you feel your child desperately needs something, it could be one thing, all right? It could be behavioral by itself, no academic, nothing else, just behavior. That's actually under the 13 categories. So typically, all right, not all the time, but typically, if your child has a need, you can make it into an IEP, if you get what I'm saying. All right, you just got to know how. So it's specific to a child-specific need, a unique need. So taking a need that they say, oh, we'll give them a 504, of course they will, because it's less money on their part. You can flip that into an IEP. You really can. It's quite simple, to be quite honest, but there's a tactic to it, okay? There's a way to go about it. All right, so that is the difference. So if you have questions in reference to what a 504 is, what an IEP is, the number one thing is accommodations is for the 504. All right, yes, they meet your child's needs with accommodations. How can I accommodate this child to help them be more successful in the educational setting? Okay, that's really what it's about. And of course, they still can get related services, speech, OT, PT, that sort of thing. A non-disabled child who just has a speech impediment or may have, muscle tone issues, etc., can get PT. So, services are a little bit different. So we'll keep that out of today's content. But just know a 504 is more specific to accommodating that child and the minimal needs that they have, which is what a 504 is specific for. Okay. And a school system will more than likely, if you start complaining or saying, my child's, not doing well, I was talking to a parent today and she was telling me how, her child's not passing certain, subjects and they keep wanting him to have a 504, but there's such a intense issue when it comes to that child and his specific disabilities that if a child is failing, something is missing, and the school system not doing anything about it and not listening to that parent based off their documentation of the child's grades is crazy to me. So you cannot allow school systems to bulldoze you into believing they're just going to do things in accordance to their policy and their way, because a lot of school systems seem to think that they can go by policy. And I'm talking about the school itself, not the administration right now. So principals will say, oh, well, we'll try to do that. Let me find out. Let me find out for you. what do you got to find out? I mean, they don't make the rules. You're going to the wrong person if you're going to the principal. The special education teacher, yes, she can help you in giving you a lot of advice. I always say go to special education teachers when you want that hunt and gather. When you're hunting and gathering, go to them. Then take that information and move forward, okay? You have to hunt and gather first. And so that's very important. So if you have any questions in reference to 504s and IEPs, if you really just put in your brain accommodations versus anything they want, anything that's needed. I shouldn't say they want. All right, needed and appropriate. Needed and appropriate. Think IEP, needed and appropriate. 504 accommodations. That's probably the best way to put it in your brain, because so many people in the special education world take all this terminology and make it what it shouldn't be. Okay? So try to focus on the simplicity of it. I know. You probably are saying, Raven, you're insane. It's not simple. Okay, so what I'm saying is just dissect it, okay? This is the teacher in me, okay? Dissect it. Take a breath. IEP is whatever it is your child needs and what's appropriate for them. And I mean it. Anything can be in an IEP. Anything. I mean, anything. That's why I talk about how wording in an IEP is absolutely crucial. Next is the 504. Just think accommodations. And like I said, accommodations are very different than modifications. Accommodations mean, let me help you with longer test times. Let me give you a highlighter to highlight your questions so that you can see them better. Let me read the test to you to accommodate your possible reading need, to basically help them and accommodate them in the ability to get through that test, okay? So accommodation is the same thing that any other child gets that has no disability. I keep having a hair right here on my lipstick. Okay. That has an accommodation is basically doing what everybody else is doing. Everything, okay? They're just given extra help. It's really like RTI, really, okay? Modifications is changes to something. They're given a test. Other children with non-disabilities have the same test, okay? This child then takes maybe a shorter test, okay? Or that child, doesn't have to really take the test. They take a different type of test, okay? So any type of change is a modification to a certain academic thing that they're doing. It could be anything. It doesn't have to just be a test. All right. So dissect accommodation modification. So hopefully you got that down. And then just remember 504 accommodation, IEP, needed and appropriate. All right. You don't even need to go into accommodations, modifications, services, this, and this when it comes to the IEP. Just think straightforward, which is needed and appropriate. Anything that's needed and appropriate for your child. It's stated in federal law, okay? Literally, federal law states that a child with any type of disability in the 13 categories can have whatever is needed and appropriate for them. And if the school system does not have it within their county, then the school system has to hire out. They have to contract out with other places, businesses, etc., to be able to accommodate your child accordingly to meet their needs in the most appropriate way. So hopefully that makes sense. So give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you guys. So I'll go into it in more detail if you need it, okay? So hopefully that makes sense and you don't have any more questions between an IEP and a 504. Again, I am not a fan of a 504. I actually think that they're pointless when it comes to any type of special need. Okay? Now, what I'm saying is if your child, and you know in your gut, okay? That my child's fine. They don't really have any type of special need. They just need a little bit of accommodations to help them get through. That's different. All right, because you know that in your gut. You're going with your gut, which you know best. So just know that unless you're kind of like, he just needs this or she just needs that, to help them out, then your child needs an IEP. And you know that, okay? Us parents, dad, mom, whatever, even grandparents, you know those kids best. You know if their need is greater than just an accommodation. So go with your gut, all right? And then it's all about the PPPN. All right? So anybody want to tell me what the PPPN means? Oh, by the way, did I tell you guys? I just got that trademarked and registered. So nobody can take that from me, ever. All right. So we're going to move on to termination of special education services. This is a fun one. All right. This went on in my group. It was a long conversation between a lot of different people. All right. It's really simple. All right. It's not technical. You really don't have to go into detail about it. You don't have to write a book about it. It's very simple. If the school system wants to take services from your child, there's many things that they actually have to do. They cannot just take services and give you a call or send you a note and say, hey, we're taking services from your child. Have a nice day. It doesn't work like that. Okay? There's a way in which they have to do it, and that's based off of idea. That's law. They have to. Okay?
Mom,
yeah.
Tell time with Dad.
Oh, what did you do? Skylar's at the door. Hang on. Huh?
Tell time with Dad.
You want to tell time with Dad?
Yeah.
All right, well, tell him to put it on his phone. All right? He has to put the analog clock on his phone. So, and then you have to look at the clock and you have to say what time is what.
All right.
And you have to do 10 different times.
Mom, I did 10 different times.
Go do it. Have Dad videotape you.
All right.
She's learning time. And so I guess because of today's world and technology, we're used to 8:47 or whatever. And so now she used to be able to tell time and she regressed a little bit on the analog clock. And so now we're making her do it each night. So she was telling me how Daddy went and did it with her. Okay, so termination of services. So before they terminate services, the school must actually evaluate your child. Did you know that? They have to do an evaluation. And that can be, it doesn't have to be a full and conclusive individual evaluation, okay? But it has to be based off of progress reports that you should be getting at minimum quarterly, and it needs to be based off those and factual paperwork that you have access to or should actually already have in your hands. Okay? So that's number one. The second thing, following the evaluation, they then can give you in writing a PWN, which is a very, very, very important document. Okay? And that's an important document that must be given to you at all IEP meetings and actually other times as well. So in that PWN, they have to state that what they're taking away. And then they have to actually state why in depth. So it can't be, oh, we're taking speech away, so sorry. It has to be, we're taking speech away because your child, on all 4 of their progress reports through the whole school year, has shown improvement and da-da-da-da-da-da. They have to go into detail as to why they're backing up their reasoning. They have to back it up. They can't just say, oh, we're taking it. Sorry, your child's doing good. Okay. And then the next thing, after they provide the PWN, they have to hold an IEP meeting. Okay. So evaluation, and that can be a full evaluation. It can be a partial evaluation. It can be going over progress reports, notes, schoolwork, report cards, etc. But it has to be documented information. And then following that, goes to PWN in writing, hey, Miss Smith, we're taking speech from Joey because of blah, 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 blah. All right. And we looked at the progress reports. We looked at the, the report cards, whatever it is they looked at. They have to be detailed into why they're taking that service. Following the PWN, they have to have a IEP meeting. Now, the IEP and the PWN can flip. All right. So you could actually get just a general formal letter from the administration stating that they're wanting to withdraw whatever it is from your child's IEP. Okay. That can then be followed with the evaluation, or an evaluation already was done, and then, they follow it with that letter. And in that letter, they can state, we're going to hold an IEP meeting on such and such date, or they can say, they're actually supposed to say, hey, what date works for you? Because they have to accommodate you by law, and making sure that you can make that IEP meeting. So the IEP meeting can then be held. You discuss it as a team. You better come with everything and your guns rolling, and back up whatever you got to back up. And that's where the PPPN comes in. All right. And then following that, you can be given a PWN, and services are then and can be terminated within 10 days. If you don't put your child's services on what's called stay put status. All right. Does anybody know what stay put status means? So what that means is you attended the IEP, you got the PWN, they did the evaluation, explained what they went into in the evaluation, how they evaluated your child, how they came up with the documentation and the proof that your child no longer needs such and such service. And then they have an IEP meeting and they take away services, right? All right, so basically what happens then is you have 10 days in which to respond and take action, all right? And so I always suggest, even though I'm not a fan of mediation, apply for it, okay? It's easy, all right? And that will put that IEP in stay put status, all right? Which means all accommodation services in which are in the IEP and that are in the IEP stay put and don't change until a resolution happens. So you're basically taking what the school system has come up with. We're taking this, 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 or this, and you're putting it on hold. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, just keep it simple. So we're going to keep everything simple to break things down for you. All right, let's not get so confused by all the terminology out there. All right. Okay. School systems cannot state that they're removing services and accommodations based off grades. Okay. Because services and accommodations based off grades have nothing to do with the fact that your child can still have a disability, and that disability creates an impact on them educationally. Okay, because an IEP is created based off the impact of the disability. So just because a child is getting good grades has nothing to do with the fact that an impact can still be hindering that child from learning. Getting good grades does not mean there's no need. Getting good grades doesn't mean that they're still receiving the most appropriate education and faith. Getting good grades is just a portion of what a child needs to do to succeed academically. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I want to go over the fact that schools cannot say that they want to try response to intervention before you get an IEP. I just want to put that out there. Don't let schools say that to you. If your child is getting RTI and you're in the process of getting an IEP or wanting to get an IEP, don't let them say that, oh, let's try RTI first and then we'll see if your child still needs an IEP. No, you can do both. They have to provide RTI and you still move forward with the eligibility meeting and getting an IEP. All right. Don't allow school systems to say, oh, we don't have the money, so we can't do this, that, and the other, and we can't give your child special education because that's not something we're able to do at this time. All right, they can't say things like that, which is why they have to actually hire out if that's needed and appropriate. Another thing is your child's issues can actually be emotional and behavioral, which is one of the 13 categories, and not academic, which goes hand in hand with the fact that it doesn't matter if your child is.
Almost done with that for 10 clocks.
You did 10 clocks?
Yes.
Good job.
Mm.
Good job. Are you done?
Yes.
Did you get all 10 clocks?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to come out there and I'm going to test you, okay? All right. So what was I saying? All right, so I think what I was saying is, okay, yeah, emotional and behavioral issues can be 100% what the issues are, and academics are not an issue at all. Your child could be an honor roll student and still have special needs, okay? And your child can receive all types of special education, including a one-on-one, even if they're getting straight A's. I know children who are. I actually advocated for a parent, I want to say a year ago. I went to an IEP meeting with her. That was a fun one. All right. If you ever have me in your IEP meeting, it's very entertaining. Yeah, so it was 2 IEP meetings we had to have to get it nailed down. But yeah, she got her child's a straight A student, sometimes a B, and he had some behavior issues and things that he really needed some help with. So it was like he was this, child that had all these great grades, but those grades were starting to have some hiccups because of behavior. And behavior was affecting other children, which is another big deal. His behaviors were affecting the teachers, etc. So that's a huge special need. Or children who have emotional issues. That's a special need. That's in the 13 categories. So never allow, oh, your child's getting good grades, we can't support that. It's bullshit. Okay? All right. So another thing is, I wanted to talk about better classes. What are they called? Advanced classes. All right. Especially in high school, they have advanced classes. Your child with an IEP is absolutely welcome in an advanced class. Again, being an advanced class does not take away that a child can have a special need. It doesn't take away the fact that a child can have an IEP. All right. So the school systems need to, I wish they would listen to me. They need to get it out of their heads that it doesn't matter if the child is passing. If there is a need that needs to be put in place to have an appropriate education specific to that child, then that's what they have to do. Period. I could care less if the grades are straight A's. I don't care. If there's a special need there and an accommodation, service, modification, whatever it is, needs to happen one-on-one so that that child can have a better experience in the educational setting, whatever that may be, okay? That is what is entitled to that child, okay? So the next time you hear, oh, your child's passing, tell that person where to go. For real. Because it's not true. They are lying to you. So they either need information because they just don't know, or they're playing with you. It's one of the two. All right? So, and I can say there are times where they just don't know. But most of the time, they know it's BS. All right? Okay. So another thing I've heard, never allow, like if a principal's in your IEP meeting and they say something like, well, let me consult with the assistant principal, or let me talk to the counselor. It could be somebody within the school. It doesn't matter. If they are not part of your IEP team, that is illegal. Okay? And it actually is a violation of IDEA to consult with anybody outside of the IEP team unless that person has been invited in writing to attend that IEP, to have communication, say an IEE was done and they Zoom in on an IEP meeting to explain to the team what they evaluated, et cetera, et cetera. That actually has to be put in writing before it happens. It's easy to happen, but it has to be put in writing, and the parent has to approve, obviously, that can happen. And so no school official, principal, teacher, whatever, can say to you, hey, let me talk with so and so. All right? Because if they're not part of that IEP, now I'm not talking about the director of special education or assistant director. I'm talking about any other. They cannot do that. That's not allowed. So, and another thing that's not allowed is a decision maker not being at that meeting. Okay? They have to be there. And a principal and a special education teacher, a counselor or a psychologist are not decision makers. They are not decision makers. It has to be somebody from the main administration office, one of their decision makers. It doesn't always have to be the director of special education, but that's who I suggest, or the assistant director. They're the more ideal people to be there. And then it's you get your decisions. If you have to push them and fight it and whatever, that's fine. But you're fighting it with that specific person versus all these different people in play. And it's a pain. It's not worth it. Why not have the right person there and not have 50 million people that you're talking to? Does that make sense? So, what else did I want to cover? Assisted technology. That can be given to any child, even a child without disability. So don't allow the school system to argue. I had a parent say something like, they won't let my child have the iPad and the child's nonverbal. That's crazy. That's not even allowed. That wouldn't even be allowed with a child who doesn't have a special need at all. Obviously they're going to have a special need to have that, but it could be something in reference to just emotional. They may not have an emotional disorder, but it could be an emotional thing where they play a game every 15 minutes, hour, whatever, on an iPad to calm them down and help with sensory issues, etc. But that does not always constitute accommodations and modifications, and assisted technology is and can be a non-accommodation and modification. It could be just simply to deflect a behavior if needed. Okay? So you just need to make sure you clarify with them what you're wanting and needing. Be specific, and don't fall for the crap that they want to feed you. Knowing your laws and your rights is very important. I talk about this a lot, and it's really important to understand them, but more so, you want to be able to take those laws and be able to PPPN. So if for those of you who are new, anybody who's hopped on, please post a 1 below if you are new, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I'm going to get over there in a second. I'm trying to ignore all the comments for a second, so keep posting them. I know they're coming. But I want you to know the laws, but I want you more knowing how to implement them. Okay? So PPPN is something that hi Tiffany, when I created my system, okay, my plan, all right, where I guide parents on this amazing, wonderful IEP journey, okay, if you will, if that's how you want to say it. All right, so I guide you on this amazing journey in my system, all right? And in that unique, amazing journey that I guide you on, I teach you how to specifically plan and prepare. So it's plan/prepare is your first P. So if you don't plan correctly, you can't prepare correctly, right? So you have to, it's kind of like cooking. Right? I crack myself up, guys, with these like analogies I come up with because I don't plan on saying them. They just kind of come out my mouth, and then I laugh at myself for saying them. Or I'll get off a live and go tell my husband, you know what I just said? Because I think the last live I did this whole pretty woman thing. Like I was like, big mistake. And I was talking about something I don't remember, and it was just funny. But I didn't think it was funny until like after I did it. And then I went and told okay, anyway, y'all probably think I'm crazy. All right. So anyway, what I'm saying is it's like cooking. The first P, plan and prepare, plan/prepare. So if you don't plan your recipe, right, and have everything, nice and laid out, right, then you don't prepare it typically correctly because you're getting stuff from all over the place. And if you're anything like me, you forget an ingredient. All right. So that's the same thing with the IEP and the process that I teach. So you have to be able to plan correctly, which is 100% my hunt and gather process. Then you have to prepare. Prepare is creating your plan of action. You have to plan, then you prepare your plan of action. You're an attorney, by the way, and you just don't get paid. Did you know that? So plan, prepare your plan of action. Okay, from your hunt and gather that you planned out and figured out and observed and did everything you needed to do. Now you're preparing your plan of action. Well, the next P, all right, is present. So what is that? You create a plan, then you prepare. So you put that plan into an action plan, and then you go and present, which is what? Taking action. That's an amazing system, I've got to say. So then you take action on what you planned and prepared, your whole creation of the system, and then you take action on what you did over here, because you have to do that first, and then you present in the right way, mind you, and it has nothing to do with normal communication. It's like a freaking foreign language I had to learn. And then you persuade, which is taking action further, which is where knowing your laws come into play. Make sense? When you persuade, you have to know your laws. In the back of your head, you should be able to cite your laws with your ears closed, your eyes closed, your ears closed, whatever, and know them. That's why I wrote and explain in detail on my video the top 5 laws, because I took those top 5 laws, which are in IDEA. I didn't make them up myself, and I then dissect them in an 1.5 hour video for you so that I speak it in English language versus law, which is foreign language, So you have to know how to read it to then know it with your eyes closed, ears closed, etc., and to be able to persuade in the right way based off law, but taking that law and making that law and rules, regulations, etc., about the impact of your child's disability. Yeah, took me 6.5 years to learn. I get it. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? So then after you persuade, then if you have to, you'll negotiate. That's where the N is. So PPPN. That's what it means. It's my whole system, and it's crazy. All right. But it's crazy good. I have to say, all right, I've tested it, done it, have a lot of success with it, and I'm super excited. So anyway, needless to say, I want you, all of you, anybody who listens to this, to make sure you have saved your spot on the master class next Thursday, 1 week from today. Have a babysitter and play, whatever it is you got to do to be able to stick on with me for a good hour. You're going to learn about the top 3 and common and costly mistakes parents make before and in the IEP. Okay? Then you're going to hear my huge announcement, which unfortunately I've let the cat out of the bag with some of you who have gotten on discovery calls with me. I've just couldn't help it because I was excited. And then you're also going to get an amazing free gift that you need. It's not going to be like Christmas or anything because I like cool gifts for Christmas, not IEP stuff. But it's going to be a gift that you 100% need. Okay? That you don't want to go without. But but the one thing I will tell you is that the announcement, the huge announcement that I'm going to make, I promise, and I've said this probably for the last 2 weeks, I promise you that it will change your IEP career forever. Because even if you had an amazing IEP last month or the month before, you still have maybe 5, 10 years to go, right? So they're not all going to be like that. And you have to know the system and you have to know how to make it work for you and your child in that unique way. And you have to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you're never going to be able to prepare in the right way. And you're definitely never going to be able to present in the right way. And you're definitely not going to be able to persuade in the right way. Make sense? So with that said, I hope I explained the 504 and the IEP. I hope I explained the process that the school systems have to take if they ever want to terminate services. Okay? And you better have that PPN down by the back of your hand if that ever happens to you. I'm telling you, you better have it because if not, those services are gone. If you don't know how to plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate, they're done. They're gone. All right? You have to know how to do that because if they're at the point where they're taking stuff, you gotta know your stuff. All right? And I get a little bit of my story for anybody that's on here new. I went through hell with my daughter. She's now 14. And it took me, I remember going into my first IEP meeting, and my oldies and but goodies will know all about this. It doesn't matter. It's online, Tiffany. You sign up, save your spot, you get a link, you hop on just like this. Super simple. All right? You don't have to come anywhere. You just have to show up just like this, okay? But not here on a live as in Facebook. I give you a link to come and join me on a Zoom chat. So anybody that's on here, download Zoom now. Just go to Google, Zoom, zoom.com, download it to your phone, download it to your computer. So you can hop on either, and all you got to do is click the link that you get once you save your spot. It's that easy. But make sure you download it ahead of time so you're not like at 8 o'clock trying to download it and you miss the beginning. You don't want to do that. All right. You want to stay till the end. And that's why I say you might start off on the computer and then go on your phone because you need to be portable and you just take your phone with you. Or you may, have to get off your phone because you now can have your computer. So then you'll be able to hop back and forth from computer to phone if you make it convenient for yourself and just download it ahead of time. It's free, doesn't cost anything. You click the link, you save your spot, you click the link to jump on, and you're on. You can put it on your computer, you can put it on your phone. I have it right on my phone. It looks like this. Can you see it? Let me see. Okay. Let me put that down. All right. I have so many apps. Can you see them all? All right. So here it is. All right. Can you see? It's this one right there. So you literally click it. Can you see? Here, I'm trying to. So it literally just goes right to it because I already have it. So that's why I'm saying download it because then all I got to do is join meeting. That's it. And you'll see me at the end. I probably will have my PowerPoint going so you won't see me in the beginning. I haven't really decided yet. But yeah, it's an in-depth course and it is a master class. I have a huge announcement at the end, and you also get a free gift for just sticking on and being present. Because honestly, I admire parents who are present in this because it's a full time job. It really is. And it can take up a lot of our time and it's frustrating. And many of us work full time jobs and it's difficult, it's stressful, it's overwhelming, it's scary and it's really frustrating. And sometimes you feel like you're a failure. I sure did. Um, I've been through the trenches. I've been lied to multiple times in IEP meetings. I've ripped up IEPs in front of like literally in the director of special education's face. I've screamed and yelled and cussed in IEP meetings. Um I've left IEP meetings, gosh, numerous times in tears because I didn't let them see me cry, but I cried later. I finally, got to the point where I had to learn what I had to do for my child. And it took me 6.5 years of trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And it sucked, and it sucked the life out of me. And it was a very dark, horrible time. It affected every part of my family because I was so focused on it. And I have two other children. I have a 23-year-old now and I have a 19-year-old. My 23-year-old is beautiful and amazing and she's a teacher. She's an English teacher. And then my son is 19 and he's in the Coast Guard. And then I have Skylar. And so my older two children didn't get all of me because I was so focused on getting Skylar what was needed and appropriate. And I'm sure there's those of you out there that feel like that, like, my other children aren't getting the attention they need because all my focus is, over here. And then you feel torn, and you feel like, you're just suck as a mom, and I did. That's how I felt. I can't speak for you, but I felt like I sucked as a mom. They obviously ended up fine, but it sucked the life out of me, literally. And I was not a happy person at all. And I can say that I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about communication. I took a lot of classes and I mean outside of me having two master's degrees. I don't even care about that. It's whatever. Yes, I have my master's in educational leadership. I have my master's in business administration, specializing in management. But that did not help me with the IEP. It was a whole different ball game, and I just had to become laser focused like a horse in a horse race with those blinders on and do what I had to do for my child to get her what was needed and appropriate and study the law and study, under Pete Wright and I'm certified with COPA, but on top of that, honestly, as I've said to most of you, I learned through being in the trenches of hell, and trial and error. And in that 6.5 years that I learned what I needed to do through so much time and experience. I mean, I had IEPs. I'd get so pissed off. I had 6 IEPs in a row once, one after the other, March, April, May, because I was so mad. And I know if you request an IEP, they have to hold one within 30 days. So I didn't care what I had to do. And I learned as I was going, I guess maybe that's where I could say I took my background of education and figured out the system. I figured out what worked, what didn't, and why. Because I'm a why person. Maybe it's the Leo in me, but any other Leos out there? But I just got super determined that I was going to figure this out and I was going to not only figure it out, but be 8 steps ahead and nail it. And then I took my experience and then started helping other people, just people that knew me, etc. I'd travel and that sort of thing to people that I knew or people that I knew's people. And then, of course, here And a friend, I was telling someone this the other day. I said, a friend told me, hey, Raven, you should really go online and help some parents. And I was a little bit nervous and weird about it. And she was like, no, I think there's a need for it. And in my mind, like, I didn't really think there was such a need for it at first, like you all opened my eyes to that actually. I knew obviously there was children with special needs, etc., but you don't realize how big the world is until you offer something that you're good at and people come. So I'm super excited that there is a need and that I can help. But I think I'm more excited to offer you how I can help, okay? Not just through lives, not just through planning sessions with me, an hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, or the IEP, the whole IEP that I offer. I think the main thing is giving you the plan, how to prepare, how to present, and persuade, and really making it happen for yourselves. I see people a lot say, oh, you should get an advocate. And I'm an advocate. So there's nothing wrong with an advocate. Make sure they know their shit. But that's all I'll say. Don't hire an advocate that's paid by the county or state, ever. Okay? Or funded by the county or state. That's where people go wrong. But anyway, long story short, I thought you did it with Dad, Sky.
Right.
You want to do it with Mom?
No.
You don't?
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow.
Early. Can you do it early tomorrow, please?
We can.
Yeah.
We can. I'll be out in a few minutes, okay? Before your bedtime. Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with advocates. I'm an advocate. But wouldn't you rather do it yourself and know that you don't have to depend on anybody but yourself? Wouldn't you rather be able to say, hey, I was given this awesome system that I could plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate, and I could do it on my own. I did it. And that's the one thing that I can say that I'm super proud of, is I did it. I didn't get an advocate. I didn't hire an advocate to come and hold my hand. And I'm not saying to feel bad that if you do that. All I'm saying is you have it in you to become your own CEO of your IEP meeting. That's why I say that, because becoming a CEO, if you think about it, I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So think about that. And I always talk about Steve Jobs because he was an amazing CEO. And he was able to guide people on this journey of Mac, right? And persuade them by presenting in the right way why Mac was good for them. Not how awesome Mac was. Oh, you can text. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you can share stuff on your screen. All the cool things about Mac and Apple, right? He didn't talk really about that. He talked about how it was going to serve you, right? Because honestly, why do people help other people? So that they can serve them if they're doing it for the right reasons. And so my whole point of you becoming the CEO is that's a true achievement that you make that is going to affect that little human being in your life that could change everything. It could change all the stress and all the frustration. I'm not saying you may not go to mediation. I'm not saying you're not going to have a bad IEP. I'm not saying that shit's not going to blow up every once in a while. It is. That's life. But it's going to decrease everything because having that knowledge and confidence of having a plan and knowing that that plan can be put into a plan of action that you actually do take action on is the whole point of what you have to do to become a CEO. But another thing I want you to know in 2 seconds, yes, come here.
Okay.
Is what you need to know about becoming a CEO is one, You have to understand that CEOs are problem solvers. In the IEP meeting, you have to be very quick in solving a problem immediately. And that all comes with how you present and persuade to them. Because if you do that in the right way, they're going to then feed you information. And with that information, you have to become a problem solver, which is what a CEO does. Are you moving it?
Yeah.
What's all over you wet? Goodness.
Hug.
I love you.
I'm recording.
I am. What's all wet on your hands?
Mother.
Oh. Go dry them off. Okay?
I did not put court on.
Okay.
Ready, go to it. Mom just saw that.
I did see that. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at that. If you haven't saved your spot, save it. Oh, do you guys know I have over 1,000 people on this masterclass? That's crazy. And I've only had it out since, it'll be a week tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It'll be a week. It's crazy. All right, so off to questions for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go. All right, so I said hello to most of you. Okay, Hi, Alicia, welcome. Humanity First, welcome. Can you share that with us? Can it be sent to us? What would you like me to share with you, Renee? Sabrina, welcome. Renee, she said, I wish it would be required for special ed teachers to know about IDEA. Makes it hard for parents to work with the IEP team when they do not know them and will argue with you about those same laws and protections. I agree. Hi, Anitra. Hi, Sarita. Sarita said she can't see me. Can you guys see me? Joy, hello, hello. And Jennifer. All right, Rachel says, IEP transferring to private school. Does private school have to follow? Yes, they do. Private schools and charter schools are a part of the school system, and the county and your district still has to uphold the IEP. The private school team or people team, whatever you want to call them, have to be there, but so does the school district people as well. And yes, they have to uphold in charter schools and private schools the IEP. All right. So hopefully that answered your question, Rachel. Hey, Kylie, how are you? Sabrina says, do these laws apply to charter schools? Yes, they do. All right. Renee says, is there always an eligibility meeting first? Absolutely. You have to have evaluation. And then I always say do an IEE with the evaluation that the school does. And then you have to have an eligibility meeting to receive an IEP. That's absolutely correct. I was just told by the school psychiatrist that he's eligible and that I needed to come show up for an IEP. Show up and see what they say. But yes, they do have to do an evaluation. That's absolutely insane that they didn't. So you need to, I would show up at that meeting, but I would email them ahead of time and request a full and conclusive individual evaluation. Gladys, welcome. Amanda, welcome, welcome. And Rachel, Christina. All right. Leslie, welcome. All these new people. Hey, Charlene, how are you? Charlene is the one, I'm going to call her out, who spoke on the group and kind of brought this topic to light. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll address that topic. I've obviously addressed it before, but with the IEP, it's always a rinse and repeat. So it's something that there's different things that we'll talk about often and different things that come into play with the IEP in different circumstances. So there's Joy and Dorace. Welcome. Hey, Jessica. How are you? Good. You turned on the notification. Yes. If you want to know when I go live on the group and on the page, make sure you turn your notifications on. Because even if you're hopping, in the car and going somewhere, you can just listen. Hey, Barb, how are you? That's okay. Don't worry about being late. Um, Hazel says, yeah, bulldoze. Yeah, happen. At bulldozing, gaslighting, and gatekeepers. um, yes, very well. Simplify. Yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Um, I'm so glad to be hearing about all this. That's from Carly. Kamisha says hi. You are welcome, Tiffany. You are very welcome. And Joy, you're welcome. And Charlene. Christina says prepare, plan, and persuade. Yep. It's plan, prepare, present, persuade, negotiate. Yes. Renee says be careful. Schools still try to. Yes. That's right, Anitra. Yes, yes, yes. Yvette, she said repeat that, please. What would you like me to repeat? Renee says prior written notice, and Hazel went through my PPPN. Charlene says because my son doesn't like working with a special education teacher. That's their reason. Renee said, glad you're touching on this. Just wish I'd known this a year ago when I got calls, then only after a PWN, which contested. Good, you should contest them. Until I got proof of their claims. School did not give me documented proof until I insisted. Very good. Marcia says, I'm confused because there's no accommodations or modifications. No accommodations or modifications with what? Marcia. Joy says, they told me my 11-year-old could not get IEP because he has okay grades. That's BS. My son has ADD, ADHD, and PTSD. Yeah. So, Joy, that's not true, as you hopefully heard me say. And hopefully you heard me explain why that is not accurate. Yvette said, what's RTI? That's response to intervention. So basically, it's providing accommodations as best as possible to a child within the classroom without a 504 or an IEP. Basically, it's helping them, I guess you could say. Marcia says money was and means are mentioned. Charlene says, I'm learning this. Thank you. Marcia says 504 plan. Yes, charter schools have to accommodate a 504 and IEP. Yes, charter schools and private schools. All right. Barb says, I wish you could have my grandson's be. Well, I could be. Francis says, yes, my son has both. There's a state advocacy you can call. We have, okay. My son is 12. He has autism and ADHD. This is from Tiffany. They put him on a 504 plan with autism. I've had people tell me that he needs an IEP. He's failing every grade. No, absolutely not. He has trouble staying focused. I don't feel like his teachers are helping him. So what are you doing about this? This is a big deal, Tiffany. One, I would set up a free discovery call with me. Two, you need to be on that master class next Thursday. Oh my goodness. That's a big deal. Anitra says, is there such a thing as graduating off an IEP? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it graduating off an IEP, but yeah. Kamisha, yes, charter schools have to accommodate 504. Yes, that's accurate. Francis says, do they have part-time para? Does who have a part-time para? Tiffany, you can set up a discovery call with me. If you want, PM me and I'll give you the link. So anybody who wants to set up a discovery call with me, you're more than welcome to. Let me know if you want the link. What about attendance issues? We have a type 1 diabetes, has been out of control sometimes, missed a lot of days. They want to take me to court. Like I talked about, I want to say last week, the school systems, you can't be afraid of the school system's retaliation. 2 ways that they retaliate is attendance issues, and then the other one's CPS. So truancy and CPS. It's a shit way that they go about things. Kamisha says, yes, there's a part-time para. We have a 504. Okay. All right, look at all these newbies. Tiffany, Tracy, Delilah, Candy, Bridget. Wow. Tracy, welcome, guys. Definitely join the group if you haven't already. It's definitely a place where let the cat out of the bag of it. I'm going to next Thursday. All right. And everybody that I've told, and there's a few people on this chat, you guys better shh. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of, big on that, guys, and being an advocate, hey, I'm not, taking everything against myself or anything like that. I just feel like if someone can guide you through a whole plan of action in every single part of the IEP, why get an advocate to hold your hand if you can learn the process and become the CEO of your own IEP meeting, with the assistance, you know what I mean? With the support and with all of that comes with it. See, I'm trying to be quiet. You guys need to stop. All right. All right, good. Save your spot. Save your spot. I'm telling you, I know some of y'all are going to flip when I make this huge announcement, okay? Especially because for what I'm going to be saying, giving, whatever you want to call it, at the end of that masterclass, because it's only for that time. So that's all I'm going to say. Never going to be offered like that again. But I'll say it all on Thursday. So just be there. Save your spot with all the, I want to say my team, I had a team meeting today because I have a whole team, guys. I do. I have to because I get so many messages, and then I also have clients, so and just so you guys know, you don't have to have a local advocate, just a FYI. All right. You have to have a knowledgeable advocate, not a local advocate. Okay. Because any advocate can do the same thing, whether it be via a Skype or a Zoom chat, same thing, as they can sitting right beside you. Okay. You want an advocate, period. I don't care who you get. If you get an advocate that knows their stuff and that knows how to go into that meeting and take control of that meeting. All right. So that's what you need to know. And again, I'm just going to go back get on Thursday's call because you can become the CEO and not need somebody with you. Okay. You need support. You need guidance, ongoing, but you can do it. All right. For some reason, I need to put in meeting ID. Are you, Melissa, what are you talking about? Sounds like she went on to Zoom. If you save your spot, okay, this is how it works, y'all. You save your spot, all right? After you save your spot, you get a thank you email. In that thank you email, or something to pop up right away. It says thank you or whatever. Then you get an email, and the email has a Zoom link. You can click it, but you're not going to get into the room until next Thursday. But what you can do is put your name and set up your account thingy, which is free, so that it's on your phone and on your, I think you download it or something. So it's on your phone and on your computer. And again, it's free. It's super, super, super easy. And it's then on that night at 8 p.m., click the link, bam, you're in. So easy. So easy. Okay? Just download. I'm just telling you in advance, since you guys are on here, and I'm going to tell my group too, that if you download it ahead of time, you just click the link. It's that simple. So easy. All right. All right. I can't believe how many new people. I'm so excited about that. That's so cool. And definitely join the group. I mean, there's so many group members on here. Ask any of them. It's an awesome group. Awesome group. So, and I love the fact that there's no negativity. There's no any of that stuff that you can find on some other groups or whatever. I have a lot of groups that I'm on that are great, but I don't like that nastiness where parents get into this chit chat BS of nasty. I don't deal well with that. I'll give somebody one chance and then they're gone because I don't have tolerance for that. All right. Renee says she's a Leo. Ah, Leah too. Yeah, so y'all know what I'm saying. Oh, that's sweet, Renee. She said she's been praying for someone like me. Tiffany says, yes, you're the perfect advocate. I can't even find anyone. That's okay. Did you sign up and save your spot, Tiffany? Did you, Renee? Hey, Amanda. Yes, I'm so glad. She says she has her Zoom ready. Hi, Cassandra. How are you? Are you new? Welcome, welcome. Marsha says she has hers too. Tiffany says, I want to be the ultimate advocate for my kiddos. My son is ASD, 4 years old, and daughter is 11. You have little ones, Tiffany. Don't worry about it, okay? I got you. I promise. I promise. By the way, you're gorgeous. I love your picture. Form that you had with the circles on it. Oh, it's on the group, Renee. Yeah. But I can post it again on the... I normally post stuff on the group, not the page. I come live on the page on Mondays and Thursdays, but I do a question and answer on Tuesdays on my group. And anything that I typically post that's personal or whatever, I post on the group. So that's it. And normally I don't care. Normally I don't put my logo in the middle of something, but certain things that I make that I actually take time to make, I want my stuff on it. Normally I don't care. People can share whatever they want without my stuff on it. But if I put some time and effort into it, then. All right. What should you ask for in an IEP of a toddler starting preschool at age 3? Depends on what they need, Leah. I could pull all kinds of stuff out of my head, but I don't know what your child's needs are. Where's the deficit? What's the disability? I mean, I know autism pretty well, but this, just so you guys know, this page and group is not specific to autism. I'm called Autism Mama Rocks the IEP because I have a child with autism, so that may confuse people. But if you think about it, IEPs are for any child with any disability. So I know some people have gotten that confused, but I call myself Autism Mama Rocks IEP because it's about IEPs, but I'm a mom of a child with autism. But it's for any child with any disability, okay? Because IEPs are for any disability. All right? All right. My son has, this is from Joy, has type 1 diabetes. They are taking me to court for all of his... Let them take you to court. Who cares? Bring all your proof. Bring all his doctor's documents. All of that. Okay? So let him take you to court. Who cares? Don't worry about it. Just bring your documentation of his disability, bring your documentation of his need, his diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is serious. So screw him. Joy says they just told me after finding that he has been unexcused. They don't take Blake notes. The only thing I'll say, Joy, is try to get to the bottom of like how he can get back in school. You know, talk to his doctor, whatever is needed, and you know, all that kind of stuff. To try to eliminate this issue, but obviously his health has to come first. So you're the one who knows best there. But definitely set up a discovery call with me. I'd love to hear, you know, what happens, you know. Carly says, what things should I make sure is in the IEP when he's starting kindergarten to make sure it's there from day one? He's ASD, emotional struggles, and SPD. Okay. What are his needs though? Where's the deficit? And I'll tell you guys, when you ask questions to me, I've said this many times, that I will always ask you a question back. I never typically just answer. And it's part of what I do, training, what I do when it comes to IEPs, because the more you know, the more I can gather, then I can respond in the best way. If I don't have a lot of information and I get just, hey, my child has autism and ASD and emotional struggles, I'm still thinking, okay, well, what's the need? You're telling me the disability. The disability is not what gets an IEP. The impact of the disability is what gets the IEP. So I have to understand where the need is based off the disability. Does that make sense? All right. So if you could explain that, Carly, that would be awesome. Thank you for the discovery call. Oh, Shannon, that was a good call. Yes. Renee answered the question for me, Raven. Okay, good. What was your question? What was it? I've gone through so many questions, Yvette, that I lost it. So Jessie says, hi, Jessie. She says, what is better for ADHD first grader, a 504 or IEP? I don't know. It depends on the need. So how does the ADHD impact his education? And then I'll be able to tell you. Okay? Is there such a thing as graduating? They want to put him on a 504 plan because of his ADHD, and he is currently only having an IEP for speech. You can't have both. I'm confused. Jesse, I'm curious. You can't have a 504 and an IEP. So you can have a 504 and get speech because that's a service. But you can't have a 504 and an IEP. It's one or the other. Because it's based off need and what's needed and appropriate for that child. And they don't get both. That doesn't make sense. So if you tell me what the need is with the ADHD, for example, he can't sit in a seat at all. He needs a one-on-one to keep him on task, to help with sensory, to help with staying focused, etc., etc. That's just an example of ADHD type needs. So he may need accommodations, modifications, a one-on-one due to safety. A lot of ADHD kids will just take off down the hallway, you know? So because they just can't sit still, they're too fidgety, and most of them are genius and they're bored in class because they're so smart and their minds are just going and going and going and they're bored. And, you know, then they start acting out and behavior becomes an issue. So I'm just giving you examples, but that's kind of what I need to be able to say 504 IEP, if that makes sense. All right, so Candy, a discovery call. I offer a free 15-minute discovery call. Usually they last longer. And it's just a way to get to know each other and for you to vent and tell me what's up, what's going on. I give you suggestions. I talk to you in depth about anything that I possibly can within that time frame. And it's just a way to kind of get idea of where you are and what path you need to go down, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like that starter point, kind of like where you're planning, and part of that process. All right, Renee says, I want the link. Which link? To the discovery call, I think you said you already signed up for the master class, but I'll post the discovery call underneath here when I get off. You're welcome, Joy. Cassandra, same. Hi, Martha. How are you? Oh, no. Okay. Kamisha says, I like discovery call. Joy says, thank you. I'm following. I need to learn all I can. Tracy says, hi. Appreciate you much. You're welcome. You have taught me a lot. Thank you. You're welcome, Cassandra. Where do I go to save my stuff? Oh, you need that. Okay. So I'll get you that link, Tiffany. Marcia says my phone went dead. Melissa says Zoom. Yeah, Melissa, you can't log in until Thursday, but download Zoom on your phone and on your computer so that you're ready to go, and all you got to do is press the link on Thursday. So I'm assuming you got the link in your email. Please send me discovery link. What's the group? All right, so I got to post the group, the discovery call link, and the masterclass link. Got it. What is better for okay, hyperactive and appropriate? They want him to have, no, not if he's acting inappropriate. So Jesse, set up a discovery call with me so I can understand this better, but it sounds like an IEP would be better. I don't like 504s. I think they're stupid. Because most kids need an IEP. If there's a need, there's a way to get an IEP. All right, based off the need. There just is. Christina says, do you have to have it in writing to bring my son's BCBA to the IEP meeting? No, you just need to email them and say, hey, I'm bringing my BCBA. But I'll tell you this, I'm a big ABA advocate. But I'll tell you this, BCBAs can't help in IEPs because they're behaviorists. That's their specialty. So unless the school's giving your child ABA, which schools can, that also can be put in your IEP. It's in my daughter's IEP. And it has to be done by a BCBA or a BCABA. But all they can do is make behavioral suggestions. They can't be advocates. Yeah, Renee, if you signed up for the master class, you should have gotten the link. Does that make sense? So the link was sent in your first email. So, for example, I just got a reminder because I signed up myself just to see how the emails go out. And it says, hey, Ravenwoods, this is a reminder that the 3 common mistakes parents make before and in their IEP meeting will begin in 1 week on February 6, 2020 at 8 p.m. Join from your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or Android. Click here to join. See it? Oh, here, hold on. Can you see? Here. All right. Does that make sense? Whoa! So you should get that link. All right. So if you signed up, then you would have gotten this email along with an email right after you signed up. Does that make sense? Um, and worst case, I will post the Zoom link on the group and the page. I'll post it underneath the event, and I'll also post it that morning. Okay? So the morning of Thursday, I'll also post the link there too. But you want to get on the email because that's how you're going to get your gift and stuff. Okay? So know that. All right. All right, so you haven't signed up for the masterclass. Okay, so that's what it is. All right, let me see if I can go on and just do it. Just so I don't forget. Because I'll leave and then I'll forget. All right. And hopefully it lets me post while I'm on live. Sometimes it doesn't let me post because I'm on live, so it won't let me. All right, I'm going to post it. Tell me if the link posts. I don't think it did. Yeah, it doesn't. I have to get off live. All right. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off here and I'm going to post the discovery call, the master class. What was the other thing? What was the other thing? The discovery call, the master class. Yeah, but I don't think you can click it. Yeah, I see it too, but I don't think you can click it. You're welcome. You're welcome. What was the third thing though? The discovery call, the master class, and what else? The group. Haha. Thanks, Joy. Joy's like my second brain. She always helps me out. She's like a godsend. Yeah. That's funny. All right. All right. So the group, the master class, and the discovery call. I got it. I'll do it as soon as I get off here because it's not letting me post anything while I'm on live. And I don't have my team come on with me when I'm live. I know some people do that and they have posts and stuff. Now on the master class, some people on my team are going to be live with me to post links or whatever into the chat and that sort of thing. So because I won't be focused on that. I'll be focused on delivering the information and focused on I'm going to keep it moving as quickly as possible because it's a lot of content. And I want you guys to get through it so I can make the announcement. Like I wish I could make the announcement in the beginning, but I'm going to wait. So I guess I'll find out who sticks around with me to the end. So it'd be interesting to find out because I will say it's pretty big and I'm super proud of what I'm going to be telling you. I'm more than super proud about it. And let's just say it's been a long time coming. And I don't know if many of you know, but I was on Autism Live about 2-3 weeks ago. Like she joked with me. She was like, you should write a book. No, not happening. All right. So if you guys want a book, I ain't writing a book. I did something better. The app for the meeting. Yeah, I can do. I'm gonna do the. You have to sign up for the master class, and you'll get the app for the meeting. But yeah. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. I've been on here like almost 2 hours, so I'm gonna go. But I will answer as many questions as I can. Like once I'm in bed, like a lot of times I'll just get on and answer questions. But I will post the links. I promise. And if you haven't saved your spot, save your spot. And of course, set up any discovery call you want. Just because you save your spot doesn't mean you don't set up a discovery call. Absolutely. I love talking to y'all. And Yeah, definitely join the group too. So you're welcome, guys. Bye, Tiffany. Thanks, Joy. Appreciate it. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. All right. And definitely, definitely click those links. Do it tonight so you don't forget either. Okay. I'll post them in just a few minutes. Bye.